Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, either back or for the first time. Now, if you wouldn't mind, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It's a huge help. Now, what else? Yes, today I'll be trying to, well, I say today, recording a block, trying to get a second of a view in the current filming location. Again, recording depending on your point of view. So, what shall we be going over? Vampires in the Garden, or Vampire in the Garden. One of the two, you'll get the correct one from the title of the video. Where was I? Oh yes, it is a 5-episode miniseries over on Netflix I rather enjoyed and do want to recommend via review. Again, it is only 5 episodes. It is, honestly, if you were to go past like the... Is that even intro? I think it is pretty cold opens unless it's been auto-skipping it. Skip past that and the credits episode for episode, you'd probably be around like a 90-minute movie if it was all just smushed together, but individually it does add for some nicer stopping points. You know, adds a bit more structure to the story of events. Anyhow, what are the events? Well, humans and vampires have been at war for quite a long time, at least a few decades. Obviously, either side becoming rather obsessively aggressive with the other, given the history of the conflict. Though unfortunately, it seems the human side, we don't get too much of a delve into the vampire side other than some, good old-fashioned nobility authoritarianism. Is that the correct? Yeah, I guess. Smushing of terms together there, but you understand the meaning, hopefully. Anywho. But on the human side, it seems they've gone straight up full propaganda and scorched earth with the history books, insisting like everything from music to dancing involves is all vampire culture and is impure for humans to engage with, and is traitorous to your kind to show an interest in it. Well, it isn't really great. Anywho, both sides are feeling the strain of a very long and drawn-out war. Both of the resources are starting to really hit a breaking point. So, Allegro, brother to... my apologies if I mispronounced that. Anyway, brother to our melancholy protagonist, Fine. I really hope I got that one correctly. It's been a few days since I've heard it, so... Anywho, devises a rather ambitious and also risky plan in order to make a full-on assault on the human capital, destroying the lights they have up, protecting themselves at night. It's not so much je ne sais quoi burning on contact, but they are significantly weakened for things that can literally transform their arms into rings. As soon as they get that UV light on them, they start to struggle to fly a bit. Which also, really neat. Something I have to commend this world. Despite the fact we don't go massive in depth to it, it does feel thought out and rather creative. Like, there are answers to questions if you were to pose them to the creator. It's not like they just said, whatever. Like, they did put some genuine thought into a good bit of the world building, even if we don't have the most time to delve into it. But this is not a one-woman show. Our other protagonist, Momo, is daughter of the current military head. It is a military state inside this city here, so essentially daughter of the president. Though could easily be replaced via Vainku at any time. Hopefully something not true in reality. Now, where were we? Anyhow, she has taken a fascination with a music box and leads her to having a falling out with her mother, which turns out to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and she attempts to run away from home. Coincidentally, during this raid done by Allegro, and happens to run into Firene, who happens to hear the music box. And from there, they go on a journey of not so much self-discovery, but acceptance of grief and hope for finding a peaceful place to live out in the world. I think it is something of a journey of self-discovery for Momo. I will say, Momo does seem to have the stronger character arc here, and while I do heavily ship, Momo and Fine, which again, that's not like a headcanon thing, it is rather implied in the show. I think they could have gone a bit further with it. Might have been nicer to have an extra episode to help really flesh that out, but oh well. Given the ending, we'll go into that in a little bit, but not the biggest loss right now. Anywho, it does feel a bit lopsided towards Momo. We don't get the strongest sense of character development from Fine, and that's partially because so much of the hassles created for them in this series past the initial raid seem to just be a result of, you know, Fine just not talking things out with Momo and just making snap, sweeping decisions without really consulting her. And it does lead to disastrous consequences every single time. Time after time after time. To the point that eventually, without going into much spoilers of how it comes about, it claims her own life. And it's at that point I really wish, again, what I was alluding to earlier was the tragic lesbian romance trope, which, you know, ain't always the best. Like Thelma and Louise just driving off the cliff because they can't be together. That is literally the only thing I know about that film. Maybe I should watch and review it sometime. Anywho, it just would have been a bit nicer to have them get, you know, a happily ever after for a time, showing some consequences for what came about during the course of the series, with Fine still being a bit scarred, if like still living and fine. And Momo, when we get a little epilogue that is, again, bittersweet, but also hints at a hopeful future with peace between humans and vampires. Just the same kind of ending, Fine there, helping to make sure everything's taken care of, and then we also see Momo noticeably older. We're kind of meeting her in her late teens, early 20s through the course of the series, unless it really is like just sending your soldiers out, children out to die. But yeah, just showing her in her like 30s or 40s with Fine, still being happy, but also, you know, je ne sais quoi, going to die someday, would also not only be a nicer ending with, you know, a more justifiable bittersweet ending, but also would provide more of a character arc for Fine, who is grieving the loss of another human from decades prior, and starts out trying to live out their fantasies about being with her again vicariously through Momo before coming to love and care for her in her own right. But just like, you know, accepting, you know, drinking blood in order to, je ne sais quoi, come back from what happened, so I don't want to quite spoil it. But throughout the series, she has sworn off it in a sort of death wish. But just like accepting that and like entering into a relationship with Momo and living it to the fullest despite knowing she will outlive her would have shown growth when it comes to like accepting and, you know, handling one's grief. Whereas, like I said, the entire series is kind of like spurned forth by her inability to accept it and just making snap decisions based off of that. Like, I cannot stress how much better the series could have gone, like, in fanfic territory for them, if just like a simple conversation was had at certain key moments here and there throughout it. And again, for only a 5-episode miniseries, that's not great, you know? But it also is good drama, and I had a wonderful time watching it, and I would highly recommend it Oh, I forgot to give like a number thing. People like that in reviews. Forgot that for Shadow House. I'd probably say for like season 1 of Shadow House, if you're watching these in order, that would be a 9 out of 10. This one, I'd say probably 8 out of 10. Pretty good, but still a few more noticeable flaws. But also, I'm kind of here for what it's doing. I just wish it had a happier ending. Anywho, I believe that's absolutely everything I have to say about this series, and in a rather compact amount of time. So, once again, I'd ask you to kindly like and subscribe, and yeah, do all that good stuff with the link tree you can find down in the description, as well as all the other links in the description and, well, yeah, the link tree. Bit redundant, but hey, people don't like multiple clicks sometimes. Or just have a bad device where they can't, like, go from thing to thing. Oh well, I'm rambling now, aren't I? I guess it's time to, like, awkwardly end this video I was gonna say once again, but no, once again works. End this video once again, with some awkward rambling, as I say. Not rambling, but dead silence. Oh, it's getting away from me. I've kind of stayed up overnight for the move, and I'm just only awake because of coffee right now, so that'll be our little secret. Comment down below what our little secret is. Betray my trust, but help the channel. Anywho, it's time for me to say ta-ta, auf Wiedersehen, until we meet again. Bye-bye. And awkwardly stopped recording. Ta-ta, my pretties.